Hey, welcome back to another episode of Heroes and Videos. We're going to talk a little Absolute Superman this week. Like a lot of people, I bought the first few issues of most of the Absolute comics. Got totally enamored with Absolute Batman. I've just been loving it issue to issue. Absolute Superman, I bought the first few issues and then read the first one, and I think maybe read the second one. Might have fallen asleep reading it, kind of thing. Wasn't at my best, I guess, when I was reading it. Put it aside. Had not been reading it ever since. Recently went back and picked up some of those. We're going to talk about those in this episode today. I would love for you to hit like if you enjoy the channel. Hit notifications so you find out whenever we drop a new video. And with no further ado, let's get into some Absolute Superman. Now, I don't have the first issue here in front of me. I read it some time ago. And again, like I say, the first issue was very good, different, a little dystopian, I guess, in terms of, it seems a little dark. But that's kind of the conceit of these All-In, or the All-In special, the whole Dark Side Absolute universe. First off, spoilers for anybody who hasn't read any of the Absolute books. Including the All-In special that kind of kicked off the latest event here for DC. If you haven't read those, you may want to pause or check out one of my other videos because I'm going to get into some spoilers here for Absolute Superman. So at least for 6-month-old Absolute Superman. I apologize for that. Hopefully didn't spoil anything too much for you guys. But the first issue, the series seems a little dark. Like that whole universe seems dark. And we are, again, in spoiler territory now. Darkseid dies in the All-In special, and through that somehow bizarrely creates an alternate universe where I don't know if he's driving what's going on. We're really not sure how this happened at this point. It's kind of like when Marvel had an Ultimate Universe, very much like the Maker's doing in Ultimate Universe now, or the new Ultimate Universe now for Marvel. It's dark. It's the Absolute Batman. I won't get into that here, but fantastic book. It's not the history of these heroes is not what it is on Earth 1, if that's what we're still calling the main DC universe Earth. And it's the same way for Superman. So in this story, and again, I've reread 2 through 6. I haven't reread 1 recently, so forgive me for that. But this picks up here. Absolute Superman takes the character back to its his original roots, sort of, and where Grant Morrison took him with the New 52, where he's fighting injustice, he's fighting the system, fighting the man, fighting corporate culture, whatever you want to call it. In this world, that takes the form of the Lazarus Corporation. Major clue there, the Lazarus Corporation, and Superman, as you can see there, has a cape. It's not the cape we're used to. The cape in this series is more an all-encompassing sort of AI companion. Think the MCU's Jarvis or Friday or that kind of thing with Tony Stark, where it's his companion. It's also was the ship that brought him to Earth. It also can envelop him, can carry many people with him, and do a lot of that Superman all-encompassing cool stuff. That Superman does in the original, if you will, or in the modern era Superman books. He's got long hair, but it's not the long hair from the 90s books. But he's a crusader for justice, if you will. At his heart, he's a young guy that's just trying to do the right thing, which is where he dovetails with the Superman we're all used to. You will notice in the background there, I totally didn't catch this when like I mentioned, I don't know if I was sleepwalking through this book or what. All of those troops behind him, those are all peacemakers. Peacemakers are the Lazarus Corporation's hit squads, if you will. They're military, police officer types. And this story is really cool, or the storyline is really cool. Lois Lane works for the military, or the Lazarus Corporation. She's trying to stop this guy, that seems to be attacking the system, attacking the corporations, fighting for the little guy, popping up here and there. And it's an interesting dynamic. I think Lois working at odds with Clark, or with Kal-El at the beginning of this kind of put me off the book a little bit. But recently I went back and I reread a couple of these, and I really enjoyed them, so I started picking up the book again. Probably should have included that at the top of the video. This third issue really, to me, had just a really striking cover, that brilliant green. I don't know if it even conveys well here, like it does in person. That is Laura, or Laurel, and Jor-El. Laurel, am I saying that right? And Krypto. So Superman's parents on planet Krypton. One of the other cool things about this book is that Superman doesn't. One of the biggest changes is Superman's not sent to Earth as a baby. Superman's a kid on Krypton. Like, he's aware of his parents. He interacts with them. He's a young kid. I want to say he's probably, I don't know, 8 or 10, maybe even a preteen when this book when Krypton goes kablooey, if that's the official term. There's some great parallels in this series to what and a lot of creators have done this over the years, drawn parallels between what happened to Krypton and maybe what we might be doing to our own planet, and how we should probably be good to our planet if we want our planet to be good to us. I've always joked about Earth Day is not really Earth Day. It's really more like People Day, because the Earth may be just fine. Granted, Krypton wasn't, but it's really more about making sure it's still habitable for us and all the other wonderful species that inhabit it. So it's the end of my National Geographic PSA. But it's just a cool concept. The fact that Clark, I guess he's Kal-El here. Kal sees his parents in action. It's not, they are still fighting the system on Krypton, because the Krypton scientists, or whatever they're called, are very much don't believe what Jor-El's trying to say, and then the fact he's trying to save people. It's a different take on that. Kal is much more aware of the dynamics there, and he's able to observe his parents doing the right thing by folks. These are honorable characters in this. His mom is just awesome, as is his dad, and of course Krypto is always awesome. But it's just neat watching the struggles, and the book jumps back and forth between present day on Earth, and then flashing back to Kal-El as a child and a youngster on Krypton with Krypton's last days. So it's kind of cool how they keep going back and forth with that. Next couple of covers I wasn't crazy about, but mainly just because they seem kind of repetitive. Here we've got Absolute Superman. You'll see he's lashing out there. There's some great scenes where it's almost like those old Hulk books, the Incredible Hulk books with Herb Trimpe drawing it, where it basically just seems like the military and the powers that be going after this individual are causing more harm than the individual is, and he's there for the common man all over the planet, because you'll see it switches from Portugal to China to South America to I guess two of those things are and then back to the U.S. and whatnot, and it's interspersed with his story on Krypton. Some really cool, and this was, unfortunately those two covers are just way too alike for me. I don't usually, I try to stay positive, but maybe that's one of the reasons I hadn't picked them up in the past, was I'd just been reading too much stuff. In Absolute Superman, I hadn't taken a good long look at the books, at the first few issues, and upon rereading them, dove back in, and man, I owe Absolute Superman a major apology. Absolutely owing this book an apology, because it is a really good read. Some of the cool things about the suit, obviously he gets, just like with the red sun, yellow sun thing, he gets his powers from the yellow sun. The suit charges him. The suit can keep him charged. As we go through some of these, I think he ends up getting beaten pretty badly in some of these issues, and he has to head to a place he thinks of as home in issue number 6. Oh, and we also see the destruction of Krypton, which interesting change up. It's I honestly feel like it's a better concept than having him just show up as a baby, or leave his planet as a baby, because he really never knew it. He was just a baby. He didn't see his parents in person, modeling these wonderful character traits. And so in the comics he didn't have any of that. He wasn't aware of Krypton exploding. He just learned all these things secondhand, like through whatever video thing, like whether we're talking about the latest movie or way back, where he gets this information secondhand, like he's told, here's what's happening. In this run, he's aware. He's not an adult or a young adult, not even quite Superboy age, but he's aware of what's going on. He's aware that the planet's getting, that the planet is dying. He's aware that his parents are trying to save it. He's aware of the fact, and again, spoiler territory here, that his parents are trying to save more than just him, because that was always kind of an issue too, right? People are like, wait, why'd you just build a spaceship for the kid? Why don't you try to save more people? His parents are trying to save more people, and the Kryptonians that are in the Science League or whatever it's called, that aren't his parents, the powers that be, if you will, are not good, and they are doing twisted things or evil things for the population, and very selfish in how they're trying to handle the issue. And it's just heartbreaking, as the destruction of Krypton is as heartbreaking as I've seen it portrayed in comics. It's really good, and you feel for the kid, because this is a kid that is watching it happen in real time as a 10 or 12-year-old or whatever he is. He's practically teen Superboy, I think, at that point. And again, we're flashing back and forth. Current day, where the Lazarus Corporation is out to get him and looking for him. There's one of the characters, interesting because Peacemaker is out as well now. Peacemaker season 2. Christopher Smith, which I think if you'd asked me before the last couple of seasons of Peacemaker, I wouldn't have been able to tell you who Christopher Smith was. I didn't know. I didn't think of Peacemaker's real name in the movies. In the TV show, I think of him as John Cena as his real name. But there is one particular Peacemaker out of all those that you saw on that cover that is Chris Smith, and he makes some decisions that are less than ideal. And Superman, there's a point where Superman is really, really wanting to find him, like he's out for vengeance, and he takes off, and you're sure he's heading to get Chris Smith, and there's a scene where the suit's talking to him, or the cape, whatever you want to call it. I think it's called Soul, S-O-L, like sun, and there's a scene where Soul is saying, I have the coordinates, so we can hack Lazarus, we can get the coordinates for where Chris Smith is, and Superman doesn't want them, or Kal-El doesn't want them. I don't think anybody's called him Superman yet. And Kal says, no, the reason he doesn't want to know where Christopher Smith is he's not sure he could trust himself. He got so angry, he doesn't trust himself. He doesn't want to hurt this guy, which is, again, Superman making the choice, doing the right thing, even if he's afraid he's going to do the wrong thing, he's keeping himself from doing that, which I thought was a really neat touch. Also, villain alert. Brainiac. There is a system or something called Brainiac, and Kandor is mentioned in the Krypton flashbacks. So I have a feeling that the Bottle Cities and Brainiac and all that kind of stuff is going to come up in later issues. I haven't yet, but am curious about that. And then here, just another interesting cover. Absolute Superman, Welcome to Smallville, and you see he's not getting the greatest reception there. I don't know that the cover is true to what's going on in the book, but it does walk you through some flashbacks of when he first gets to Smallville, and the whole Martha Kent and Pa Kent, or Jonathan Kent, interaction with Kal, with him arriving as a young adult, if you will, at that point. It's really cool to see his story, and honestly, it gives you the feels in terms of just, we found a baby that can lift a truck, from like the original Christopher Reeve movie, and you can imagine what a nightmare that would be, bringing up a toddler with super strength. Kind of avoid that by having him show up when he's a little older, but they still have all those things where all those interactions where where you get to know each other, and the Ma and Pa Kent have that great heart in dealing with him, or in conveying some of that to Kal-El. Though I've got to admit, in this book so far, it seems like his Kryptonian parents probably at least as responsible for his character as his Though actually, I take that back. That they are, but also the fact that the things they go through on Krypton, and the evil corporations, sort of, and the evil powers that be, if you will, that he sees that as a kid, so that really helps drive his always wanting to help the underdog and the common man theme that that he carries with him as one of his great character traits. But this is good. This is as far as I've gotten. Is Absolute Superman #6. Couldn't buy them all at once. So I'm slowly going to be picking up. I think now it's getting close to 12. It's right there with the same Batman numbering. So I'm going to say we're up to 9 or 10. Surprise villain reveal at the end of this in terms of who's in charge of the Lazarus Corporation. You probably have a pretty big clue just based on the name of that. Oh, and the other side story is Lois slowly, even though she's dead set against this guy at first, and trying to bring him in because she works also for the Lazarus Corporation. It's kind of cool to see her come around to starting to wonder, hey, is there more to this guy than meets the eye? Just like some of the best Superman stories and in any form of media are the ones that he sets a model or an example for others, and they come around to realizing, hey, there's something to this. There's something to this way of thinking. There's this is a character. This is someone whose character is something I want to emulate. It's really cool, and to me, that's where Superman kind of works the best. Obviously, Captain America on the Marvel side as well. So that's it. We'll be doing some more Absolute Superman reviews when I get through, and we'll certainly have some new last week's comics. This week's video coming out, Mighty Thor Thursday, on a little bit of hiatus. I know there's been overwhelming demand. Some of those views might even be in the double figures, but yeah, I'll get some Thor stuff back up and running soon. Did just rewatch Superman again, and it was fantastic. Some of the films that are out, we did just go to see One Battle After Another, the Paul Thomas Anderson film with Benicio del Toro and I'm drawing a blank. Leonardo DiCaprio and Sean Penn. So that was a great film. Adding that to my list of great films this year, which includes Sinners and Life of Chuck, as well as obviously all those wonderful comic book movies that came out. Hopefully we'll have a review up for some of that stuff. I need to be leaning into the videos and Heroes and Videos a little more. And did get Life of Chuck on DVD, so I'm looking forward to seeing that in 4K here shortly. That was one of my favorite films of the year. Can't say enough about that. And if you're looking for a superhero connection, Loki, Tom Hiddleston is in the film as well. So just a great watch. Love to hear in the comments what you're watching, what you're reading. What did you think of Absolute Superman? Did you jump off or jump back on? I'm curious to know what you thought about it. In the meantime, keep reading comics, keep going to see movies in theaters, and be kind to each other. It's the new punk rock.